Just had to wait for the delay to come through. So, let's get in today and talk about role-playing. Now, if you've watched me at all over the last 6 months, you know I talk a lot about role-playing. And I talk about the benefits that you get from role-playing. But even though I say there's a lot of benefits, I haven't really gone into a lot of detail like I want to go into today about what it is and what it does for you. So let's switch over to the chat room. Just to make sure that people can come in and chat with me and I can see your messages. Just be aware that there is about a 10-second delay. So you do type in a message, and I'm looking forward to your comments. I'll see your comment right away, but it will take about 10 seconds for you to hear the response. So until we hit that point, I'm just going to keep talking. So I had my second class last night with my new adult group. And I'm also preparing to do some summer camp courses with a center in Causeway Bay. And I was starting to think, and I posted on a couple of Facebook groups that talk a lot about role-playing games. And I asked them what are some of the biggest difficulties that they have in introducing their friends into playing role-playing games. And one of the most common comments was that the rules seem too complicated. And that's very understandable. I mean, I love to play Dungeons and Dragons. That's been my favorite game, and there are other similar systems like Pathfinder. I'm learning right now through a game that supports. There's a game that's based on the Pathfinder rules that I'm learning right now and playing around with. And I'm going to just again, just to be sure that everything's working smoothly, I'm going to step into Facebook on my iPad and send myself a message. Sure that things are working smoothly. As they should be. They've been going pretty smoothly the last couple times that I have tried this out. So, not seeing anything right now. Interesting. I'm not seeing the comments right now. One of these days, it will be just very smooth and easy. Okay, I am live right now. Okay, everything's looking right. It will be just very smooth and easy. Okay, I am live right now. Oh. Just trying to leave myself a comment. Okay. There we go. All right. That message came through as it should. It's funny. I've had so many hit and misses as I've been testing this over the last month that I still feel hesitant every time I get one of these going. uh, okay, I'm gonna trust that the system works. I know that um, Facebook is working right now. I've been getting notifications after the fact that the YouTube's working, but ever since I started doing this a few months ago, my primary goal was at this time of day to be on Facebook, chat with my audience there, and talk to them about things that I think that will help them in learning English. Okay, so now that we've done testing, let's go back to where we were. So over the last couple weeks, I was helping out a school to teach English, to do some mock exams. As everyone knows, kids were out of school for most of the last 6 months, and then all of a sudden they're going back in school in time for their normal end of the term exams. And it's been chaos. Not all of the subjects have been taught that were originally on the curriculum to be taught, and the students are just expected to know everything and then be tested on it and pass the test. So one thing that is good about this center that I'm working with is that they're giving these students a chance to do these mock exams and test things out, see how much they know. Normally, I don't believe in that type of rote exercises as a way of learning languages. However, it is useful in testing the comprehension and the level of students after they've done certain time in better methods of language learning. And that's why I offered this school to partner up and do my role-playing summer course. Because especially now, the majority of the students, I only taught about 10 students from grades P1 to P4. And this center was exceptional in the levels of English from P1 to P4 of the students that I taught. Every single student I worked with, their level of spoken English was very high. And even it was kind of funny. Some of the mock exams had quite a few typos and mistakes in them, and the students would say, "Mr. Brian, this is wrong," and, I tried my best in advance to correct the tests, and sometimes I missed things because everything was just moving so fast. But that's how good their English was. Now, one thing they were lacking, though, was some of the tenses. Now, people who love grammar rules, which is only about 5% of language students, only 5% enjoy and actually get benefit from grammar exercises. And this has been proven. This is not just me saying this. This has been proven by a number of professors in the U.S., namely Dr. Krashen and his team, people who follow his methods, like Blaine Ray, who created the TPRS storytelling method, which I have based my role-playing education system off of. And what I realize is to help these students, they need to hear more natural English in the context that it's used. And that's why in the first place their English level is so good, because their parents speak English with them at home. That's obvious. I saw a couple of parents in the center, and they spoke to me, and I could tell that they were very comfortable with English. There were a couple students, though, who had behavioral problems, is the best way I can say it. Um, Really, there was one that was exceptionally out of control, but um, all of them, and it's because of the way they were learning. I mean, it's boring to sit there for an hour and a half doing grammar exercises. We were trying to give them the example of taking an exam, and seeing what that exam would look and feel like. Uh, but when there's just two students and a teacher in a tutoring center where they're used to having time to play around, then it's hard to get them to commit to that. So I suggested this center. I said, my courses will help them with their behavioral problems and with the English problems that they're struggling with most. Um, and I'm sure of that. I completely believe that. Um, like I thought I lost track of how long I've been working on this program, and it was a post that I discovered from my personal Facebook page uh, in the last week or two that I saw my first ever announcement of this class 5 years ago. It's 5 years ago that I started thinking about this idea and started playing with it. I thought it was only 3 years ago, which is what I've said in some interviews, but it's been 5 years that I've been working on this and testing it out with students, doing the research to find out what are the best methods for learning languages. Okay, but let's stick to my theme today. So role playing. What do you get from role playing? Now, back to what I was asking the two TRPG groups. They noticed that a lot of their friends who have never played the games before, they feel a little bit shy at first to do acting. Most people think of acting as something that you do on stage or something that people do on TV and that people don't do in real life. The fact is, you are role playing every single day in your daily life. And that role is something that you have chosen, that you decided you want your life to be. You're role playing your own life every single day. And if you want to be better at what you get out of life, you need to have the ability to experiment with different roles in a safe environment. And that's what tabletop role playing games give you. They give you the opportunity to be with, hopefully, with friends. And it's very important in what we call a session zero. That's the first time the game master and the players meet together to find out what type of game they'd like to play, what elements they're comfortable with, what topics they prefer to avoid. And you have that social contract. And then within that social contract, you should feel safe to experiment. Now, it takes time, and some systems are more complicated than others. I am going to start next week a series of YouTube videos talking about the very basic elements, step by step, how I would teach a new role player. These are things that I'm using and have been using in my adult classes. Um, okay, cool. Good question. So you saw that what I did with the hero kids, and now D&D and Pathfinder are more advanced systems. I tested out though with my students in Kowloon Bay, and I didn't jump right in and give them the, the whole thing. With both my students. What in the heck just happened to my? All of a sudden, all this. Okay, let me Oh, that was weird. All of a sudden, my audiobook started playing. Okay, my audiobook started playing on my phone, and my camera had stopped working. It stalled on me. That was really weird. Okay, so back to your question. Now, I will start next week showing how I teach people to play role playing games. And the age doesn't matter. I've tested the hero kids with 4 to 8 year olds. I've been testing Dungeons and Dragons with 10 to 12 year olds, um, and and also with adults. And with everyone, I go step by step. So first, I help them understand what a character is, and help them decide what they want to be what they want their character to be, what role they're going to play. Then, once they start to get a picture in their mind of what the character is, then I'll go and ask them what do they think they're good at, and then we do the 6 ability scores. And normally I'll just do the standard array, or I've even found that with D&D Beyond, if I just do I take my students, give them a race and a class, and then I let D&D Beyond, the character creator, fill in everything for me. I've subscribed to their service so I can have unlimited character slots, because that made sense for my business to do so. But then I give them a character sheet. Now, I've studied the character sheet for over a year now, and made it with just the very basic elements. That was a comment I also noted a lot in the 2 different groups I posted on Facebook. Most people look at the character sheet for the first time and they just see all these stats, and people just get scared. My very first video next week, I'm going to show you the character sheet that I just made for my newest adult class. I finally settled on something that will give them the basics to get started with their ability scores, basic information on the character. Something that I found was really cool for kids is skills, and a short description in English of what those skills do. And then I tell kids that they focus on the ones that their character class is proficient with. And I also give them adventures so that we, step by step, we test things out. So the very first day after making the character, I have a very simple story that they're going to save this prince. And they come to this magical bridge. There's this lazy guard there who wants a token. And the kids have to figure out how, or the students, let's not say kids because I do this with any ages. So my students have to figure out how they're going to get across the bridge. And they can try anything. The only thing they can't do is they can't fight this guy. And there's a magical barrier on the bridge. But that doesn't stop them from swimming across the river or pickpocketing the guy. I've had that work, and as long as the dice roll in their favor, then they successfully do that. And then the story goes on that they follow the road. They find the entrance to a cave that has a sign that says "Prince in here." They go inside, and then there is an earthquake. Some of the mountain comes crumbling down, so they make dexterity saving throws. And people who don't play games, that means they roll the 20-sided dice to see if they move out of the way. That is the funnest part of these games, is that element of chance. You can do just about anything you can imagine, but whether or not what you attempt to do succeeds or not depends on the roll of the dice. And that's where all the statistics and the numbers come in to balance out and make the game more fun. Okay? But again, baby steps. I'm going to go baby steps with my YouTube channel, new video editorial videos. I really liked what I did translating CJ Leung's videos, although at that time my level of Cantonese wasn't quite what I needed to be. And thanks to Phong Daiman and his group of players, I'm starting to get caught up on that vocabulary. But so what do you guys, what other things do you want to know about benefits of role playing? Okay, I've gone on for about 20 minutes today, which is good because I'm finally getting some comments, and thanks a lot for leaving a comment on YouTube. But if you weren't able to see the live, leave me comments. I check my YouTube and Facebook comments pretty regularly throughout the day as I'm working on my different projects. Okay. Oh. And I can't see Celia's comment very clearly here. One not so great thing about, let me see the comments. Okay, all right. Unfortunately, my OBS font here is not giving me a good view. Let me just switch to a web browser that won't affect my view and double check Celia's comment there. Okay. Okay. Oh. I see. I see what you're telling me in the title of the video. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. Okay. So let me wrap that up today and go back and fix that. Goksik, my Garksik. But please, if you didn't see the live, leave me comments and I'll come back and check and follow up with you so I can continue to make content that's going to be beneficial to you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to YouTube. Hello, Eva. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. Give me a like on Facebook. Share this content wherever you're watching it with the people that you think that this will benefit. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll be back on Tuesday nights at 10. We'll be in Cantonese. And then I'll continue Friday at 6:30 is the English broadcast. But thank you so much. And we'll see you.